all the stuff you think you want. And then at the age of 29, 30, I sort of melted down. I had what I would now call entrepreneurial burnout, but it was more than that. It was, the only way I can describe it is that I felt like my heart was broken by the career I'd chosen. And I was using my skills in psychology, philosophy, in humans. I was using my skill in human understanding, essentially to create more disconnection and separation. And I was making some companies obviously nicer places to work, and there were some positives in what I was doing. It wasn't all negative, but I knew it wasn't for me. It wasn't quite for me. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't my skill and my deepest skill and my noblest purpose. And so I walked away, and I basically just said, I literally cannot do this for another day. And that was about 15 years ago, and I set up Switch On, and I still work with large companies. In fact, about 2/3 of my work is with companies doing leadership development and culture development, but trying to bring some of this consciousness, this, dare I say, love into our everyday business decisions, our way we treat our employees, the way we think of our customers. So I'm not anti-business. In fact, I love business. In fact, I love entrepreneurship more than anything. I love it. I love the creativity of it, the rush of it, the excitement. But I do believe that we all, as I say in I think the last chapter of the book, it's time to come out the spiritual closet in business and be a bit bolder in how we tell people we're making our decisions and what's influencing us and what our hearts are saying as much as what our spreadsheet says.
Exactly. And are you finding there are more, with your work, more companies that are stepping up, wanting to know how to organize, reorganize, work from that place of heart and oneness and changing the world?
Yes, again, yes and no.
Okay.
I do think, in general, the management class, if you like, who are the people I spend most of my time working with, they genuinely do want a more purposeful, more compassionate workplace. They genuinely want a business that is doing some level of good in the world and preventing some of the worst stuff they do and getting rid of single-use plastics and moving to clean technology. So that's definitely happening. And if it wasn't, I wouldn't do this job. And yet, most people are still existing in a structure that doesn't always reward that stuff. It rewards short-term profits. Right. And there's a struggle at the moment at the heart of the world for the soul of business, if you like, the soul of what capitalism can be. And so I finished the book talking about something that I'm going to develop into further work as we go forward, called connected capitalism. So it's still capitalistic, it's still about effort and energy and ambition and innovation. But it's recalibrating capitalism away from just a focus on my profits and my career and my ambition, and using capitalism, which is such an amazing creative engine, but pairing it with purpose. And something I call purpose, not in front of some of the execs I work with, by the way, but occasionally I do, if I'm feeling brave. Purpose for me I call love in action. Yeah. And it's spiritual love in action, but we use the word purpose because it sounds, sensible and clever these days. So it's an easier word to use. I think we all, wherever we're at, we may not save, we may not create world peace, and we may not create stop climate change, but all of us get to play a part in what capitalism looks like in the next 20, 30 years. Even if it's just the products we buy and the companies we support and the shares that we buy, but as well as the organizations we work in, we can rewire capitalism from within. In fact, it's only people from within who can do it. The noisy activists can't do it. We have to do it from within our companies.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think it's exciting to know that there are companies that, sure, we all need to thrive, but have a higher purpose attached to it.
Yes.
And that's where I think we're going to end the suffering and all the different pieces, instead of the power and greed needs to fall away. So
there's nothing wrong with money. There's nothing wrong with profit.
It's sacred. It's a sacred exchange.
Money allows us to invest in things, invest in people, invest in new ideas. Money is awesome, but if we just extract that money for our own life and our own happiness and convenience and joy, that's where the challenge is. We have to reinvest some of that money, not all of it, some of that money back into solving the world's very, very many problems. And as I talk about in the book, we can't destroy capitalism, and we wouldn't want to anyway, because it's so creative and dynamic, but we all know that the capitalism we have right now is not awake enough. It's not conscious enough, and it's time. And we know the 60s was the beginning of this realization. It's taken time for it to really embed in the Kool-Aid to be drunk by many, and but it really means all of us finding ways to talk in meetings and in decision-making moments with from a different place, from that heart space as much as that head space. Right.
And we, the consumer, have the power with what we purchase. And
way more than we do as citizens in some ways.
Yeah. But I mean, we can make such a difference with our purchases if we come from a place of wisdom with food and everything down the line. We're running out of time, and I'm really enjoying this time with you, Nick. And before we leave, how has going within, bridging the spirit with science, how has that changed your life? And do you sometimes sit and marvel at what you've been through to where you are today?
Wow, that's two amazing questions in one. Yes, I mean, I'm endlessly amazed by how much I've changed, actually. And, there's still the same me that was there when I was 7 or 15, right. But there's also so much that I'm so different in so many ways. And even since I met my wife 8-9 years ago, we've both changed so much with each other, for each other, because of each other, in our relationship, through my work. So yes, there's a constant marvel. And that's why I'm on this call, on this show, because I have to tell people almost everything about us can be transformed, particularly all those habits and patterns that we develop to protect ourselves. They are transformable, and I stake my life's work on the fact that people can change, and they can change profoundly over a period of years. It's not instant, but it can happen, and if you look around sometimes and go, my God, am I different in these situations, or am I relaxed? Wow, I'm so relaxed in social environments now, where I used to be really anxious, or whatever it is. I guess that's coming full circle to this sort of spiritual and scientific philosophy that I'm sort of putting out there. Is it's I wouldn't talk and read and teach about what I don't live every day and what I don't use every day. To deal with life's many rich challenges. And, I go through just as many as others. Challenges economically, business, social, family, ex-partners, divorced children, lots of stuff goes on in my life. But I have a way to engage with it, which I didn't have before. And I have a way to trust that the process of transformation is occurring all the time if we can get with the process, which is another way of saying what was said much simpler in the past, which is, going with the flow of transformation and swimming, putting a bit of energy into the flow and going with that flow and not fighting it and seeing where it takes us and trusting that if we connect with our hearts and if we bring our love into our experience in our moment now, at this moment, then we will always get to a better place through the transformation, even if we can't see it at the time.
Right, that's the trick, even if we can't see it at that time.
Yes, and we usually can't.
Yeah, there's so much wisdom that you receive when you look back after going through a tumultuous time or an illness or anything of that sort.
Anything, exactly.
Yeah. So one more quick thing. How do you have hope for your sons? Do you have hope for the generations to come?
I do. I think there's potentially a lot of hope, a lot of change occurring. I do believe that we can make it through the risks that are threatening our species. I do believe we can make it through. I also know that it's not going to be a walk in the park. Mm-hmm. And I need to equip them with how to deal with radical uncertainty, challenge, difficulty. Just climate change alone is going to be, I think we haven't even begun to experience what, extreme climate we're going to be getting in the next 10, 20, 30 years. And there's a lot of work to be done, but I do have hope, and I'm out there every day sharing that hope. But it's not a hope. It's not a sort of, it's not an abstract hope. It's a hope that comes from knowing that we can solve our problems with this combination of love and science. We can solve our problems. We have the tools.
Yeah, we do. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being part of elevating this human race, and thank you for being on the show. Everyone out there, until we meet again, au revoir.
Are you seeking a clearer path to love? Then tune in to the Love by Intuition show next week. All designed to your highest good. To contact Deborah Buffet, owner of Empowered Connections, call her at 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or link on to lovebyintuition.com. Remember, we are all one, and we are all part of the miracle of love.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.